This is the 37th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, directed by Matt Shakman, who previously directed WandaVision and has done a lot of prestige TV, such as Game of Thrones, Succession, The Boys, that sort of thing. Very solid director, who brings us Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, starring Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach, who we love from The Bear, as the Thing / Ben Grimm. And we catch the Fantastic Four in Earth 828, so a different Earth, different universe from our main Marvel Cinematic Universe. We see them in the 60s in this retro-futuristic setting where they have been the Fantastic Four for several years. This is not an origin story film. We get their origin in about a 10-minute montage at the beginning of the film, and they're beloved. Everyone knows who they are. They're out and proud. That they have a cartoon. Everyone knows who they are. They're trusted within like the United Nations. So this is the setting we're getting, and they're a fun group, get along, all that good stuff. And then all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, their alert goes off, and we are visited by the Silver Surfer, Shala Ball, played by Jennifer Garner in this iteration of the film. And she heralds Galactus, destroyer of worlds, eater of worlds, and she said, Earth has been selected for destruction. Sorry about your life. The Fantastic Four then go on a mission to try to stop this from happening. They go and actually go on an intergalactic trip to visit Galactus, try to bargain with him. Not happening. He wants Earth and more, and then they eventually have to come up with a plan to stop his coming to Earth. We see him in the trailers and things actually get to Earth, so we know that is going to be a confrontation. But there's a lot going on in this. A lot of it works, some of it doesn't. We're going to get into it. Zach, what'd you think?
So Fantastic Four First Steps has a lot on its shoulders. It is did you say 37th Marvel movie? 37th Marvel film, right? People are very familiar with the formula of a Marvel film, and it's coming 2 weeks after Superman, right? Which is a James Gunn picture, is similar in shape, kinda, to this one. We have to meet our new hero who we're not super familiar with in this world that's built around them. It's not quite like our world. It's different. It's retro deco. Superman is similar but different as well. But like the Fantastic Four is 4 superheroes, right? You've got to have all of this chemistry with them. You got to have your Silver Surfer character. You got to have this Galactus character. It's a lot. It's a big melting pot. I think what I like about Fantastic Four First Steps is the world. I like the world building and the setting, this retro deco future, this big architecture, their little like lair and hangout, even like their clothes and costume design. Solid. I love the look of it. But I feel like I could see the seams of it a little in how the movies put together. We heard a little bit about reshoots. We heard a little bit about cutting characters last minute, moving stuff around. Somebody put together a supercut of footage that was in trailers that didn't actually appear in the movie. And it seems like the movie's been meddled with a little bit. It feels like it's been pushed and pulled, and our plot is here and our characters are here, but it feels like it's overly wrought, overly produced, and it ends up feeling a little bit sterile, I think, whereas Superman somehow felt more organic. I don't want to just compare this to that. For kids, I think Fantastic Four First Steps, solid. Great. They're going to love it, right? Looks cool. You got the fun Fantastic. But if you're an adult and you've seen the last couple Fantastic Four movies, I think it might end up feeling a little familiar.
Yeah, I thought a lot of this worked, or it worked more than it didn't. The first hour or so is phenomenal. I think the first, maybe it's 45 minutes, are lots of adventure. And I remember thinking, I was like, man, I hope they didn't like shoot their shot too early and there's even more to come. And they kind of do the like I said, in Act 1, they do this whole kind of intergalactic travel. They confront Galactus on his own term. Lots of special effects, lots of action. So much goes on in that first hour. And then it kind of drags. They don't really know what to do while they're waiting for Galactus to show up. And this is normally where you would do maybe some more character development. And it seems like they're just kind of biding their time. So It does. I think it works like visually. I think the characters and cast are good now, but I think narratively it's just a little bit disjunct.
Yeah, Disney's given away a lot in the advertising for this. And one of the things that was made obvious the last couple of weeks was the notion of first steps in the title, leaning towards like this pregnancy that Sue Storm has with Reed Richards. The two of them are together, and at the beginning of the movie, they discover that she is pregnant with child, right? And that becomes a bargaining chip in this Galactus thing. He says, hey, I want that kid. Like, that's special to me. And so they come back and from this trip going to see him, and Pedro Pascal's visibly shaken at some of his best acting in the movie. And he says, I told him no, obviously. We're going to find a solution. We're going to figure something out. And the people of this world, Earth 828, start to question the mighty Fantastic Four. And I think that is a good plot and a good angle to go towards, but that, like, Sophie's Choice is maybe not explored in the correct way. And that second hour ends up dragging, I think, because a lot of us are already imagining how it probably should go and what we should do, but it kind of stumbles, and Ben, the Thing character, does not get enough of a backstory. That he has this funny sort of thing they started to film with Natasha Lyonne that you kind of forget is in the movie till later. And meanwhile, Johnny, played by Johnny
Joseph
Quinn? Joseph Quinn. Yeah, Johnny Quinn. Yeah. He also ends up a little sidelined to this kind of baby pregnancy plot. The four of them are a lot of fun and maybe miscast, but it ends up with that second hour feeling a little clunkier than the first and a bit more parted out, I think.
So, depending on who you ask, some people love the casting. Some people say that it's everyone's miscast. I don't think so. I think the cast works pretty well. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, smartest man alive, his intelligence is both his greatest strength, but also his greatest hindrance, as he, sometimes doesn't do very well in like social situations. I thought he was good. Vanessa Kirby, I think, here is the standout. She's really putting the movie on her shoulders. Great actress, and she's been in things like Mission Impossible Fallout. She was in the Fast and Furious franchise. Like, she knows how to do these big budget films, and she gets to do some real acting, and a lot is on her shoulders. I do feel like, because there's so many main lead characters, like you said, Ben Grimm kind of gets shortchanged for time. Johnny Storm as well. He gets to do a lot of flame on stuff because that's an easy, fun effect to do. But yeah, there's three undercooked subplots. One, like Zach said, is this weird romance subplot that doesn't work with Natasha Lyonne and the Thing. And then Johnny Storm kind of not being taken seriously is another one. He's like, no, people need to take me seriously. I'm more than just a ladies' man. And he kind of, contributes to the plot as well. And then also we get some backstory of the Silver Surfer, but it's so short, it's so brief, and it was like you had three subplots. You probably should have just had one or two and really developed them a little bit more, because what you get are three that are just not really well addressed.
Yeah, and you can't, like, cut them later, right? Like, they way cut down the Ben Grimm stuff. Like, you only get a few scenes with Natasha Lyonne. And it's weird, because at first I was like, oh, she's going to be in this movie a bit. And then I completely forgot she was in it until way later. But you can't cut it completely out, because then he's got nothing going on. Like, he's a character who's just barely in some scenes with the rest of them, and then otherwise he doesn't exist. So he's got to have some plot. Johnny's got to have a little plot. He's got something in there. As far as the miscasting goes, I think Joseph Quinn is miscast. And that's simply fundamentally due to looks. I mean, for Johnny, Marvel wanted a blonde-haired, blue-eyed maverick American, and they picked a brown-eyed brunette Brit. Like, it's just not the right guy. Like, and they worked him over, and they gave him the eyes, and it works. Like, I know a few people who've seen it, and they all said he's one of the better parts of it, and he is. His charisma comes through. It clearly, like, they looked at his reel from Stranger Things. Oh yeah, he played that kid. Like, I see that for sure, and I'm looking forward to him being in future entries. But in this one, I don't know. I struggled to see through it. That's pretty thick makeup they got on him, working him over. Pedro Pascal, meanwhile, I know a lot of people have said he's too nerdy. His character's too closed off and introspective from the world. And it doesn't give Pascal a chance to do big charisma and shine. I disagree. I do think those moments are in here. Like, he is definitely doing a Reed Richards. He's not just Pedro Pascal. His voice is a little higher and quippier, and he's like a little bit more like, oh, we've got to check this. I've got to run tests. He's doing his thing, and it's solid. But when he speaks to the people of the world who all unwaveringly believe in the Fantastic Four, almost to a fault, like the world they are in is so kind to them that like it comes through, and Pascal is good. As for that world, I found myself a little frustrated with how much everybody is on board with the Fantastic Four. The power they have in this world is crazy. Everybody loves the Fantastic Four. It's the point that, like, when the world needs to rally against a power like Galactus, I mean, it's just a scene away. Hey, guys, we got to get together and work hard and recycle, and we're going to beat them. And everybody's like, yeah, the Fantastic Four told us to. Little weird, especially coming out of Superman a couple weeks ago, where our metahuman in that movie, that the world does not love Superman, really. Like, he kind of struggles with that. And some people are like, hey, maybe you're not such a good guy, dog. Like, it's a bit more complex. That is not a problem in the world of Fantastic Four, though. They got to deal with Galactus and the Silver Surfer, which is a much larger threat.
Yeah, this is definitely comic books 101, which is, I think, maybe a good thing for Marvel. As complicated as the MCU has gotten, one of the praises for Fantastic Four has been how easily you can just jump into it. You don't need to know anything else about the MCU. Kids can just jump into it and go. So that's definitely a good thing. We definitely need to talk about our villains. Galactus, played by the great Ralph Ineson, who you might recognize from things like Robert Eggers' The Witch, David Lowery's The Green Knight.
I can see it turning in your head. Yeah, Green Knight.
Yeah. Great character actor. And so he does, and he has this great low voice, and he does the voice of Galactus. Not quite as much of him as I'd hoped. I'd hope we would get him some monologuing, but the effects look pretty good, especially when they go to Galactus and visit him in his lair. It's a really kind of impressive point. Julia Garner is she's fine as the Silver Surfer, just not quite like Galactus, not quite given enough to do or enough to say. Also, the villains are they're a little bit too simple. It's very simple with it. They just want to eat Earth. That's it, and it's almost too big to be interesting. Like, when you think of someone like the Joker, that just wants to torture Batman and torture Gotham and just an agent of chaos. It's so much more interesting as opposed to someone who's just going to destroy the world. It's so big, it's just kind of bland.
Yeah, Garner and Ineson both have to act very stiff and covered in CGI. And that doesn't always mean a bad performance. The Apes movies are great, but those characters are much more limber. And Andy Serkis hopping around as Caesar has a lot more like action and engagement than like this very stiff Silver Surfer and very stiff Galactus, because they're supposed to be imposing and all powerful and like this alien force. Yeah, them going to space is great. Again, I really like the look of this movie. I want to start to wrap it around to that. Like this movie looks tremendous. The commitment to art style and this like retro nouveau look that they've got, this kind of pop art deco futurism thing looks great. The Fantastic Tower looks great. I love that everything is a CRT television. They don't have any flat screens. I love that everything has this pops of like blue and white, big color. I love the music of this movie. The soundtrack is fantastic. But it just feels like it's lacking a bit in the turns. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes down to it, it just kind of starts to feel cobbled together. There'll be a CGI scene here or there that you feel like doesn't really fit with what I was just watching and the scene next to it. But there's a good chance that Disney pre-comped it 6 months before and they want to use it because they made this scene already for the movie. So they kind of slide it in and slide it out, and I don't know. It just ends up feeling a bit more like a puzzle that's kind of been jumbled together quickly than something that like has been really thought out and tailored. And I know that's not the intended experience.
Right. And that reminds me of something I want to talk about, which is Motherhood, which is a lot, which is on the mind of Fantastic Four first steps. We have Vanessa Kirby is pregnant in the film. This is not a... This is well known going into this. We also have the Silver Surfer is a mother character as well. And it reminded me of The Boys when they do that girls get it done situation where we're like, this is kind of doing the same thing where it was like, let's lift up motherhood, which is something I think very noble to do, but it's just in practice, it just comes off as kind of corny. I was reminded how much better it's done in something like The Incredibles, which is ironic because The Incredibles is based off the Fantastic Four, but Ellen Parr, Elastigirl, saves the kids, beats up the bad guys, has so much agency, and they do that mother superhero thing so much better in that movie. And it's just kind of cornball in this. I would love to hear from women about what they think about the motherhood aspect of this.
That's really good, actually. I forgot the Silver Surfer has a bit of that going on in this movie. Julia Garner's character's got a past and then some secrets, but yeah, Vanessa Kirby is very obviously being a mom in this. Initially, when we hit credits, I was watching it with Christine, and I was like, man, Kirby, like, she kind of gets sidelined a bit in this movie. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I felt like every big action scene, the other three Fantastic Four members were like, stay back, Sue. We've got this, you know? But that's not true. And she quickly reminded me of that. They're like, no, she's in pretty much every fight scene and kicking ass. And actually, this like prismatic force thing she does comes off looking pretty good. I remember seeing that in the comics and being like, how would you translate that well to film? But they got this cool shimmer thing. Overall, like, I think it looks real solid. I do want to ask before we wrap it up, just quickly, to talk about Superman a minute. Like 2 weeks ago, we saw a DC film about a hero who is out of place in his world, but trying to find his way. Now we have this movie from Marvel 2 weeks later about heroes who are so in place in their world that everybody loves them and they are revered as like heroes and leaders and record setters and trendsetters. Having watched both of them, Andy, what do you think? Like two very different angles on comic book movies here.
Yeah, like I said before, Fantastic Four is getting kind of back to comic book basics, which was something I was saying Marvel kind of needed to do. Like, they need to have kids want to dress up as your heroes. That's kind of a problem with Thunderbolts. No one wants to dress up as depressed Yelena Black Widow, you know? And so it's very kind of back to basics. It's very easy for the kids to understand. It's a little elementary for maybe the adults, but again, that's not really who these are aimed at. Superman, I think, is a more complex film, and again, Superman was done filming a year in advance, so they had a whole year to do post-production, and I've heard some interviews with James Gunn where he was like, well, originally we had this in the scene, and then we did some test audience. Like, they had time to refine it and really get it as sharp as possible. And money-wise, they've done about the same, about $120 million over the weekend, 220 or so international. So they're doing about the same. But I think time will show that, you know, Superman is what everyone has been talking about, been making memes, been going to see multiple times. The Fantastic Four is fine, but it's not something that I think is going to have the kind of legs that Superman does.
Yeah, same. I think Superman's going to win the hearts and minds. Like, there will be more Marvel audiences to come out for the next Marvel project, of course. But Superman had a lot more heavy lifting to do. Like, it was coming at it from a new angle. Obviously, this is a character a lot of people are familiar with and have seen done a few times, just like Fantastic Four. They're rebooting this thing. I don't know. Out of the two, I think I like Superman just a little bit more. But if you... well... It's a perfect place for recommendations, obviously. Andy, would you recommend Fantastic Four First Steps?
Yeah, overall, I would. I think I had a great time in it. It looks really good. I think the cast is really well cast. The score is doing a ton of heavy lifting. Great score by Michael Giacchino. It gets a little bogged down in the second and third acts. I think it starts really, really strong, and then again, it's kind of edited too much. There's some subplots that don't really go anywhere and don't really work. But I think it's a good introduction to the Fantastic Four, and I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah, I like Fantastic Four all right. I don't know if I'd say rush out to the theater to go see it like I did Superman. That if you were going to go see one comic book movie out of the two, I'd probably say you should go hit that one. But if you saw Superman, need something fresh for the kids or whatever, you just got kids who want to see Ben Grimm smash stuff up, like, go for it. It's a fine time. It's a couple hours at the movies. I think Marvel should continue moving in this direction of this, like, kind of alternate reality where we're in more of like a Norman Rockwell painting with like robots, and that's a fun place to like do comic books than this like weird black site government military propaganda thing they've been doing for 12 movies. Like I'm with Andy. This works way better. So that's it. It's Fantastic Four First Steps. Man, what a picture. And if you like this, you know, subscribe to Off Script. We could send you more videos just like this one. You can see when we post on the channel. Notify, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Yeah, that's that. Fantastic Four.